I'm sharing this video with just a handful of individuals who have been aware of my effort over the years to encourage SIM USA to adopt a policy where they would honor the intent for which donors give donations, for which missionaries raise funds, that they would honor the intent. Early on, when I became involved with SIM, both at the SIM Bolivia director role, then Eastern Andes area director, and then DID with the Americas, we saw repeated situations where funds that were designated by donors, that were raised by the missionaries, were used for a purpose other than what it was given for, when SIM USA could have still honored that purpose. There are times when legally you can't. I'm well aware of that. But it's those times in between. Before we joined SIM in 1983, there was missionaries did not raise support money for their retirement. The understanding expectation was that supporters would continue to support their missionaries until they died. But supporters got tired of that and saying, come on, you guys have to be planning for your retirement. So when we joined in 1983, the mission had recently required that all new missionaries raise support for their retirement. And so we did. It made sense. And our supporters gave, understanding that this was for our retirement. For the first 16 years of our service with SIM, that was during the pool system. And during that time, SIM managed our retirement funds. After that, we were responsible, each individual. Some of you understand that, remember that transition. And that went fine. At the time of the transition, we were told by SIM USA that they recognized that they had 16 years of our retirement savings. Later on, they actually gave us communication explaining how much per month we would be given. Evidently, they've changed the rules. And this was the most recent communication I've had with SIM USA trying to address this issue of adopting a policy that respects the purpose for which someone has raised their money and for which money has been given. So recently we've learned that we no longer qualify to receive anything on retirement funds from SIM USA. How can we not qualify to receive funds that we were required by SIM USA to raise for our retirement, that donors gave to funds for our retirement? They didn't give it to SIM USA to use however they wanted to use it. How do we not qualify? And like one of our pastors, supporting pastors said, if you didn't qualify, who did? Who qualified to receive that money that we gave for your retirement? Now, that's frustrating, very discouraging. So what do? SIM USA in their communication has communicated through their legal department that they don't want to talk about this subject anymore, that what they're doing is legal. And it is. Of course it's legal. It would be legal to honor the intent as well. But they've made that definitive thing. So, after 30 years of trying, both when I was SIM Bolivia director, SIM Eastern Andes, SIM DID for the Americas, and now for the last 13 years after we've moved out of SIM into this new ministry, I can't do any more, okay? And I'm okay with that. I've tried, I really did try to help preserve the trust in my family, in my SIM, what I used to consider to be my family. But when donors and missionaries lose trust, that's the Achilles heel of donor-dependent organization. And that's been my concern through the whole time. So what do we do? What are Becky and I doing? First of all, we're fine with forgiving. We have decided we will forgive the leadership of SIM, the finance department, for having taken our retirement funds and used it for something else. We forgive them. We're not going to turn bitter. We're not going to, mope about it or complain. It's done. That's what they decided. It's done. But we don't agree with how SIM USA manages funds. And I will, and I continue to do that now. When I talk to people, I warn them about making sure that the organization they give to has a donor-dependent policy where they will honor the intent of the donation as long as they can legally do so, and that SIM USA does not. I'm aware of 5 mission agencies that do not, and argue, just like SIM USA, that they do not need to do that. And it's legal not to do it. And they're right. That's true. That's true. So I share about it. I'm not publicizing things on Facebook. I'm not on a campaign to discredit SIM. For me, SIM is what happens in ministries around the world. That's SIM, not in a central office somewhere.